Yeah.
Go ahead.
So should we move on to the Danny and John scene?
Yeah, I think so.
Um, I get so, I'll let one of you guys start.
I
I'm
was just
sorry,
going to say
guys.
the same thing, but okay.
I
We
just I
really
just
did
feel like
not like that.
I just feel like I'm always hating on Danny, and so please, you're so much nicer about it now.
Well, the I can understand her coming in and asking him, is he drunk? Because I'd have turned around and walked out if he'd been myself or something. But them talking, she, she started off kind of trying to cudgel him, and then the next thing you know, he's got to tell his family they're his family, and she is his family too. And like I said earlier, she should be thankful that she's got another member of a family that she thought was all dead, rather than worried about that chair. And that's really starting to bug me that she's getting so intense like this. They're trying to make her out to be the Mad Queen, when I always thought Cersei would be the Mad Queen, and she would not be as mad as Cersei anyway. So we may have two wild queens running around Westeros here at the next two episodes. But when he started telling her they could make it work, when she told him, I think I wrote it down, she told him,
Yeah.
I just told you how we live together, you know. And she told him, this is how it's going to be. And she was kind of, I just don't think I would have probably told her, well, since you put it that way, then I'll go tell him right now. Because I
Right.
just don't like somebody
Exactly.
telling me, putting the screws to me and telling me that, especially something with my family, that I have to or should have to do anything that I don't want to do, and
Right.
that's just the way I would have gone. But I've noticed that John has started looking at her a little more seriously as far as some of the things she does, and I believe he really does love her, and I believe she loves him, and that's the pity of it all, is that she really does know what, once you are thought to be an heir to the throne, she knows the headaches and the heartaches that go along with that road that you take when you take that road. And she knows what she's had to go through to get to that road. But she's not thinking that he has also gone his own road to get to that point as well. They have both been monarchs in their own right. One on the other side of the world, one in this side of the world. So, I felt that like she was given, setting some boundaries that, if it was me, I would not have liked. Just put it that way.
I completely agree with you. Like I just, he comes in and we all know John doesn't really like to get drunk, but he does it when he's upset about something. And this harkens back to the first episode too, where he's, a little way too drunk because he has to sit at the bastards or the table in the back. And he goes outside and, Benjamin's like, you had a little too much to drink there, didn't you? So, it's just one of those things again where John, and I know Tormund was pushing him and pushing him, but it really, John probably doesn't let himself get too out of control unless he's upset about something. And I feel like he was upset about this whole thing with Danny and being so controlling with him because he's not used to that. And what he's used to that with is Catelyn. So that's all that's going to remind him of, is some woman who is horrible to him, trying to control his life and tell him, don't tell anybody. I mean, if I had anyone who I loved tell me, don't tell anyone who your family is and who your real parents are, I'd be like, see you later. You know, I mean, that's that, because that's who you are. That's who he is. And he's been waiting to find this out for, you know, his whole entire life, 20 some odd years. So it's not okay for her to sit there and go, well, I just told you how you can make it work. And it's like, oh, would you stop talking like that? And would you stop being like this? It's just, this is why nobody likes you. This is why nobody wants to be around you. This is why nobody probably trusts you to be their queen, because, you know, John also still really, I guess he did find, he found out about Dickon and Randall Tarley, but you know, this stuff has got to be building with him. Like, well, you killed Sam's father and his heir. You don't just wipe out a whole family just because they didn't bow to you the first time they ever met you on top of a dragon. It's just not, you know, and he had already said, don't go burning people because they don't bend to your will. So, you know, she just basically got his dragon killed because she swooped in there too fast and didn't see the Greyjoy or Euron's army. I'm sorry, but there's huge krakens on there. I'm quite sure you could see the ships and the scorpion. You know, I mean, it was pretty obvious the minute it hit Rhaegal. You go back and around. You don't just start screaming like she heard the Northmen do. I'm one of them now, and I'm going to scream and run at a scorpion. No, you go around and get him from behind. You know, Euron can't turn around the scorpion that fast. So I don't know what that was all about. But the whole thing about this is just that she needs to understand where her place is. If she's going to be a queen, there has never been a queen before. That's why Rhaenyra was the queen who never was, is because men in this world, in that world, come first. That's primogenitor. So it doesn't go to the daughter, it goes to the son. And if he's the son of her older brother, then, you know, it's not her throne, it's his. If we're going to go by, you know, the Targaryens still have the throne, which they don't, but I guess that's what we're going by. And every time I listen to Dave and Dan, all I can do is just go, do you even know what you're talking about your own show? Because they just talk about Dany and how much they love her and how everyone needs to love Dany, but they don't know her, and oh, poor Dany. But no, that's really not what they're writing. What they're writing is that everyone does not like her for a reason. They don't trust her, but they trust Jon. And, you know, to have him sort of just, you know, I mean, it was kind of stupid in the first place to not wait for the army to make her own decisions and do what she wanted to do. And it seems like it all stemmed from this scene right here, where he didn't really give her an answer, like, I'm not going to tell anyone. He sort of did, but, you know, I mean, he grabbed her face and, you know, just all sweetly after she threatens him. I just don't understand it. I guess they must love each other quite a bit. Because, or he loves her quite a bit. Because, and I don't know why. I just don't know why. You don't go from regret to this and be like, oh, I love you. No, I won't tell anyone who I am for you, so you can have your throne. I know he doesn't want the throne, and I know we all know Jon doesn't want any thrones, but he's a great leader, just like Varis later says. Men believe in him. He's measured. He makes decisions in a way that's not just flying by the seat of his pants. So, and I think that's kind of all I have to say about that scene. I'm sorry to constantly just bitch about Dany, but I can't stand her.
It's okay. I actually have I have more memorabilia, right, and like paraphernalia and stuff like that for Dany than I do for any other character. I really do like Dany as a character. I feel like I'm not a third wave feminist or a fourth wave feminist, but I am a first wave feminist, right? Like I want the vote. I want to be able to fight for my country and everything like that. So for Dany to be a monarch is very important to me, equally as it is for Sansa. But when it came to this scene, okay, again, Emilia Clarke's acting is on par. When there's a scene where she says, "It doesn't matter what you want." If you freeze frame that, her expression, you got to give kudos to that. Like, that was, I don't know what juice you're on, Emilia Clarke, but it's bonkers. Like, you should win an Emmy or a Golden Globe for this, or a SAG or something, because it's just insane. She is crazy for the throne. You definitely see that. She's getting more crazy as she is in Westeros. It's almost like a curse. Like, she wasn't as crazy when she was in Marine or Astapor, or like all these other, like Vaestal's Wrath. And here she's just nuts. She's there's something about this land that makes the Targaryens fucking nuts. That's what it is, right? Go
Yeah.
Get out of this land. Go rule somewhere else, right? Like, don't come here if you act like this. Again, she says, "Don't tell your family," and then you got family, duty, honor, which isn't Jon's words. It's the Tully words, right? His are Targaryen, which is winter is coming, and then winter has already been brought and gone, and then blood and fire. You're his blood, so technically he's supposed to rule beside you, not rule with you, or like rule, serve you. Is my point. It's supposed to be 3 heads of the dragon, right? You have to learn that, right? And she didn't. Like, even you see this later on when he's leaving Winterfell, and he doesn't go with Rhaegal, despite, like Tormund says, being 2 fleas fucking on a dragon. That's the weight of Jon on that dragon.
Right.
Like, you should have been on it. Why didn't you go on it? Like, it makes no sense, right? Technically, if Jon rode Rhaegal and kept Rhaegal there, he would have survived. Let's be clear on that right now.
He would have done it right.
Because Dany wouldn't have been looking at Rhaegal when that scene happened. She would have been looking out at front, but she wasn't. She was more concerned with her child beside her. Again, this is all looking in the past and the present, which is Jon and Dany, right?
True.
What else did I say here?
Good point. Yeah.
Sansa will want to see me gone and you on the Iron Throne. I don't think that's the case. I really don't. At all. I don't think Sansa wants to see Jon on the throne. I've never begged for anything.
No, I think she needs.
Oh, sorry, Ash.
Sorry, she needs to be on the throne. That's all I was going to say. Yeah, I think she sees herself either ruling the North and Jon, or somebody reasonable that she likes ruling the South, or just separate them. Or sit the throne yourself, babe. She's a better ruler.
And this is what I kind of don't understand either. Okay, so obviously the Vale and the North don't want to be with Dany. Then you got the Crown lands. I'm assuming the Tullys and the Freys and everything would go with Sansa as well, right? Because that's her family and everything like that. But then you have the Crown lands, which would obviously be Cersei's area. But then she has the Stormlands, right? She has Dorne. Why wouldn't she just take those areas and just go live there instead? Why would you even bother giving Gendry the thing and just take it for yourself and rule there for a while and kind of wait it out, right? Like, why is it now, right? Like, you're being childish, right? And that goes to the next scene too, when they're doing the whole round table map thing. I've never begged for anything, and yeah, you have. You've begged for a lot of stuff. You begged in Karth to get the ships and the money and everything like that to sail to Westeros, right? And she was like, "I will have what is mine in fire and blood," right? Those are your words. You're like, "I need it," right? Like, I want it. So I don't buy that for a second. No, you've begged a lot. Then you got like the command by your queen. We can. I've just told you how. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wish you never told me, or I'd be happy right now. That also goes back to Sansa and the Hound, right? that scene, right?
Mhm.
Because if I was a little bird, nothing would have. I would have stayed a little bird, right? Where Sansa's learning from that experience, and Dany isn't, right? Like her character development only goes so far to a conqueror, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, Sansa's learning constantly, and she is fighting every battle everywhere in her mind. So it's the same thing as I said last time, that I feel like she's really taken way more away from this than Dany has, being someone who's ruled Marine. Maybe that's because they were foreigners, and of course they bowed to you. You broke the chains they were in, but you also took their lives away in a lot of ways, because they lost their jobs, they lost their, like the old man who came to her and said, I'm I'm now like trying to fight young kids on the street for food, because I was teaching, I was living in a house teaching children, this person's children. Yes, I was a slave, but I ate, and the children loved me, and now I'm fighting for food and water in the street because I don't have anywhere to go. She doesn't understand what people need, and I believe that's why Cersei's bringing everybody, thousands of people. Please, King's Landing has 1 million people, we know that, but 1,000 people into the Red Keep. I feel like that's why she's bringing them within the walls, so that it's not that Dany burns everybody. It's that she doesn't understand what it means to be a true ruler and actually protect your people, or at least have the appearance of keeping them safe. She doesn't understand.
It's like Rhaegar in the harp, right? Barristan told her that story where he used to go down in the harp, and whatever money he made, he used to give it to the poor. Like Rhaegar understood that, right? That necessity of life, right, from the small folk. Where Dany, like, she's completely oblivious to it. She has no idea. She's been handed everything. You basically got handed a dress from Illyrio, got sold off, ruled like an entire Dothraki army, then went on with your dragon. Like, all you had was this small little group. That's it, for like a season. That's it. That's all your experiences as a slave. And even then, you were treated like a queen and given this beautiful dress to, like, and everything like that. And like, it's just so stupid. Like, she doesn't understand. She has no concept of life, like, of being poor, right?
No, and you'd think she would, after all this talk of running with Viserys and selling the crown and selling everything they had. You'd think after all that she would, but
That's
no.
what I was just going to say, because she was considered the beggar queen,
Right.
on the other side of the ocean. So you would think that she would be have more sympathy in some ways than she does. But there again, she has been taught that she is a Targaryen, she is a royal. And living in America, I'm not sure I really understand all the significance of all of that. But if it's anything like what's happening over in Britain over that baby, then, that's something really special, I guess. But, I mean, she should know better.
Hold on. Inform me what
And
happened in Britain. I didn't get that point. Like, what happened in Britain?
I'm talking about the royal babies. I'm not clear on all the royal stuff, but
Prince
that
Harry
goes on.
baby, yeah.
But
it's actually causing some problems.
Yeah, but she was never actually taught how to be a mother or have a mother or raising. If you don't can't have any concept of what family is, how are you going to conceive of ruling a kingdom? You've got to have a basic concept of how to live within a family structure first, you would think, and then you build your confines up until you learn how to deal with people. She never had a chance to learn how to deal with people within that structure like a lot of orphans do. But even John was more blessed in that he had the family structure that she never had. That's just what I was going to say about her.
It's true. I agree. I mean, all she had was Viserys, and we don't even know if what he told her was even true. A lot of it, some of it was,
And he
but she was
abused
so
her.
young.
Yeah, and he
Oh,
abused
he
her the
did.
whole time. So
He sure did. I mean, it's one of those things where he could have told her anything, and it was more Viserys's anger at the usurper's dogs and all of this than it was hers. It was his anger. She was too young to even understand, except for that they were running and running and running all the time. But you know, you look at the house with the red door. That had to have been a very nice house if it had a lemon tree, and if it was outside her window, and if it had a red door, it just seems like. And then they're living in this Illyrio's manse, you know, she's being given everything. Even Tyrion said it. She had stone eggs and birthed them in a fire. Fine. That's awesome. But like, that doesn't make you a queen. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Just because Targaryens birthed dragons in the past, not every one of them became the ruler, you know. I mean, it wasn't about the fact that you have dragons or not, and it certainly wasn't about the fact that, well, sometimes it was, but with the really ruthless ones, which, I mean, what's his name, Maegor. I actually loved him, Maegor the Cruel. Even though he was evil, I really loved him, and I loved how he just took out the Faith of the Seven while he was getting married because they were pissed off about it. That's what I think of when I think of a tyrant with dragons. But, you know, it's the fact that now it's much later on and everyone in the Seven Kingdoms knows about Targaryens with dragons and what they'll do if they don't get their way. So, you know, all this talk about breaking the wheel, there is no breaking the wheel here. This is the same old thing. And she's not sharing that phone with anyone. Go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I found a lot of faults with Dany this season, and it's a little sad because she had a very good rise, and then she immediately crashed. There was no gradual progress to her crash, right? Like, yeah, progression. That's it. So like, it was just sad, right? I do find it. She didn't even break chains. Let's put it that way. With fucking Missandei, stupid slave to the end, spouting names and being a fucking whore. Like, seriously, that's all she was this entire time, right? Well, you basically lived the same life as you did before, and guess what? You didn't learn any more languages. You didn't do anything else. It was so stupid. But
well, yeah.
Go Ash.
I mean, just them taking Missandei and her saying Dracarys, it's like, what is it? Okay, great. Now we've got this again. Like, this is what we don't want, is her burning the King's Landing with her dragons. Yes, I get it, Missandei, but also you weren't even like, you were an advisor, you weren't anyone, you were just someone until you started getting a pay raise as an actor. You weren't the character that Daenerys depended on for her advice and for, you know, she wasn't. She was just a girl that she really liked. And I loved Missandei too, but it wasn't really that big of a deal, except for to Grey Worm. Actually, it was more big of a big deal to Grey Worm to have her beheaded on the parapets than it was for Daenerys, because, you know, as far as a queen goes, then you shouldn't be that emotional either about your basic servants. I mean, she was like a servant. So I just don't understand the breaker of chains either. I love that line from Cersei, like, so much for the breaker of chains. You know, I mean, at this point, not that I'm on Cersei's side really, but at this point, I'm almost liking Cersei more because she's just a deeper character.
I agree. Okay. When it comes to Cersei,
I still don't like Cersei.
No, I don't.
I still can't. Cersei. Sorry, y'all.
No, I don't
Go
like
for it,
Cersei. Don't get me wrong. I don't want Cersei to win. I don't like Cersei. I don't think she's right in any way whatsoever. I just think that Danny is such an annoying character for me in the show, not in the books, but in the show, that I just can't take it anymore. I just feel like, I almost think Cersei's being smarter than Danny right now. At least she listens to her advisors.
Well, right now, Cersei's got no reason to surrender. Cersei is ahead of the game.
Yep.
And say what you will about Euron Greyjoy, them ships were badass. Now I'm telling you, they were some rigged out ships, and the crossbows on them were something. The ballistas, but yeah, that was something else.
Yeah, Euron on those ships was pretty awesome because, I mean, Euron in the books is so much more, but it's finally coming to a place where Euron's trickery and his just the way he's always kind of getting the better of everyone. He really pulled that off with Cersei too. Like now, I mean, you could see for a minute there that she was scared of him when she told him, that she was pregnant with his baby and made him think it was his. And he started touching her face, and you could see that she was like, whoa, oh, please. I almost like shivering, like she was scared of him, which you should be scared of Euron Greyjoy. And he just took down a dragon. That's a big deal for Euron Greyjoy, with one bolt. Well, two, but I mean, the fact is, isn't it? I'm sorry, but didn't Rhaegal's stomach pretty much get ripped off last episode by Viserion?
Yeah, yeah, it was 3 arrows. It went one into his heart, then one ripped his wing, right, and the other one's already damaged, right? But and then one went through his neck, and then he just fell and died. But I had issues with that scene, like from a book perspective, because Euron wants dragons. I don't think he would be the one to kill it. He wants that power, right? Like he would use that horn to get
it. Yeah, he wants the dragon.
So I had issues with that scene. I feel like Euron is being done dirty in the show so badly. Like his tie to the other too, right? You he's cutting off their tongues for a reason. It's because the Night's King likes silence. That's who's influencing Euron Greyjoy, right? That's how I feel, anyways. Like you can't tell me you've been having all these weird dreams and shit like that, and jumping out of windows like Bran, and then tell me you're not talking to someone else. No, you're talking to the Night's King, buddy. Like I know you are, right? So like everything, right? Like, oh, I need a dragon horn, right? That if that's the way the wall's gonna go down is by a dragon, the Night's King wants him to steal a dragon for him, which means it's still alive. It's not even a white when he gets it. So yeah, but yeah, Rhaegal was like stripped everywhere in his stomach and everything. I thought he was dead. I thought for sure the way he like crash landed and everything.
I did too. I mean, it literally looked like he had his whole stomach ripped off, like the skin of his stomach ripped off. But whatever, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like, and John said, well, Rhaegal he needs to heal. Then why do you take him, right where they're waiting for you?
She should have listened to Sansa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once again. Or even John. I mean, John being that's true what you said, Steffie, about like John being, he's just gonna be so much weight on Rhaegal. How awful. Like 90 pounds on Rhaegal would be a big deal. Come on. John's tiny. And we just made that point with Tormund saying he's tiny, but he got on a dragon. So why can't he do it this time? If you're taking him back, I know she seemed like she was taking them back to Dragonstone. But what happened is that, I don't know why you don't expect Euron Greyjoy to be waiting there. His fleet is there. Everything's set up for war. So why would you just take 2 dragons and your last one's left and, have them taken out like that? If they're your children,
Okay,
you might want to protect them a little bit.
I want to bitch at this scene for a second. I guess we're at the King's Round Table and like what kind of happens as a consequence to that, right? So I'm really pissed about her plan to go to. Why are you going to like? Are you're retarded? I'm gonna say you're stupid. You're talking about Yara and Theon got into a battle right after the ships left Dragonstone. What are you doing at Dragonstone? Are you stupid? Like
Right.
she basically made the same mistake twice. What are you doing? You're an idiot. Like, and this is where I wanted to bring up Olenna Tyrell. Olenna Tyrell told you, you take your force and you attack King's Landing right now. That's what you do. You do. If lions don't consider the thoughts of sheep, what do dragons do? They don't consider the thoughts of lions, right? She told her to attack then. The oldest one in this entire series outside of Old Man, right, who like probably has the most political knowledge and tactical knowledge, just told you to go, and you probably would have won the whole entire kingdom. But you were an idiot, and you listened to John, who's a bigger idiot, who basically has gone into 3 battles and basically almost lost every single one, except for the one that Sansa was there and saved his ass for, right? Like, why would you listen to John? Because he rolled a dragon into trees? Like, seriously, why are you listening?
Because you slept with him once. That's why. And you love him now.
No, but he's pussy whipped. Right? He's so pussy whipped.
Sansa said.
Right? Like, Dany says she's pussy whipped. She's not pussy whipped. She's trying to pussy whip him back. Right? Like, no, get out of here.
Well,
Varis said that.
Varis even
she would overwhelm him. She's too powerful for him. He can't ride the dragon much.
Yeah.
Okay, again with this round table like garbage shit. Who the hell is the Prince of Dorne? Who's the...
I know. I was like, is that Tristane? Who are you talking about? The guy who married Marcella and loved her?
The only person I could think of would be that the guy that goes with them to the tower in the Winds of Winter pre-release with Arianne Martell. Oh, the Dane?
Balon's. Oh, Darkstar.
Yeah, that guy. So I thought it was him because that's the only person, but we've never met him.
Nope. So he's the Sword of the Evening. He's not. He's a Dane. He's not a Martell. I mean, I don't know who the Prince of Dorne would be. They killed Doran. It seems like that's who they were referencing with the wheelchair, but that was way less than 120 years ago, and it wasn't Daeron Targaryen's nephew either. Well, it could have been, but not 120 years ago. So, and it's gout. He wasn't crippled. It was gout that put him in the wheelchair. So I don't know what that was about, but it's also the thing. Philip, one of the dog shows is Philip. I don't know who these people. I don't know who the Prince of Dorne is. I don't know. I mean, did Doran have another kid we don't know about? Is it Elia?
It's like Moses. It came in down the river. Like, it's so stupid.
They're finally bringing the Sphinx in.
Alaris the Sphinx, maybe. But
no, yeah, but in the show, it was only the 3 daughters of Oberyn and Martell. It was only those 3 that they said that he had. There was not. There was never a 4th or a 5th. I think he had 7 kids in the books. Right. And he all taught them a different craft.
Yeah.
Right, but Doran's the Prince of Dorne, and he didn't have any other kids but Arianne and right.
Yeah.
So
and
they didn't even do Arianne Martell. They didn't even do her. They just left Tristan as the only heir.
Didn't do the one that went to after Dany over there either. What was his name? Quentin or what was his name?
Quentin, yeah, Quentin that got burned by the dragons.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they can throw him in too, because they've thrown in Harry Strickland as being some gorgeous young great fighter when he's not. They've thrown in a lot of
Yeah.
people. So maybe it is Quentin. I don't know. Yeah, because they did leave that out. That sort of became Tyrion going in there to check on the dragons and running away when they were in chains. So maybe it's now they're going to introduce finally Quentin, which is just odd. And how did they get Dorne into the mix anyway? I mean, I guess because Cersei killed the sand snakes and Alaria, now Dorne's in, but we don't know why.
I think Dorne was going to automatically be in after them killing the sand snakes, and Quint and Oberyn. So,
Sure,
that
but
came
like,
from Paris.
how? Like, where's the scene where we see like even a raven arriving at Dorne? Like, I thought they were all supposed to be dead.
Well, you don't. You just see Varis holding the scroll. That's all you see is Varis holding the scroll.
This is so
And
stupid.
he's the one that.
Why are you bringing back all these places that you fucking utterly forgot and like left dead and dry and did an awful job with? You should have just left them off, honestly. Like, why bring up Dorne? Why bring up Storm's End? Like it doesn't matter. No one fucking gives a shit. Like, honestly, you left them out for like seasons, right? Like, if you wanted to do them justice, you should have, right? And you didn't. Like, just don't even bring them up. Like, honestly, so stupid. Like, Prince of Dorne. Yeah, right. Get out of here with that shit.
Please leave them alone. You've already decimated Dorne. Like, it's just a little tiny place with one family.
They could have gone when they had that talks. He told them that Yara had taken over what's that place with all them islands? The Greyjoys place.
The Iron Islands. Iron
Islands. So they could have gone piecemeal back to King's Landing. They could have gone and rested up at the Iron Islands, let the dragons try their wings or whatever, So, there was just poor planning and too rushed. She had to get back to fighting another battle, and it was too soon.
Yeah, and I mean,
and one more thing, and I've quit. When he give up that direwolf, if you give up the direwolf, you're gonna lose the dragon. So, just saying.
That is so true right there. That's all I could think of when he let Ghost go with Tormund. I thought, you're dead, or you're done for, or something bad's going to happen, because when Robb didn't listen to Grey Wind, that was the death of him. And we all know when you don't listen to your direwolf, that's the end of you. So, like, you can't even pet him. You can't even, like, talk to him like Arya did to Nymeria and say, you're going with Tormund, I'll be back, I mean, maybe it means Jon will go back to the north, but, like Sansa said, Starkmen don't do well in the south. They don't do well in the capital, and they don't. They die every time. The hour of the wolf. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna.
It was a mistake to have Ghost go. Go ahead, Steph.
Okay, we're like just jumping all over the place. We really don't like this, so we're like basically hopping from one negative to the next negative to the next negative. Like, it's pretty bad. Okay, so I'm gonna try to bring us back just like a little bit. Okay, so I liked how Jon Royce was at the Round's Table. I don't know where he's been, but I like him. I wish there was more of him this season. Right? Like with Sansa just standing idly by her and all that. Like same with Brienne, right? Like there should have been more of him. I don't know how Yara took the Iron Islands when Euron has supposedly the greatest fleet that the seas have ever saw or whatever. The stupid line that Cersei gave. I find that when they're talking about taking King's Landing and everything like that, Tyrion says that the people in King's Landing will basically just eat her alive, right? If they just starve them out. And it kind of goes back to the Misa scene where everyone's grabbing at her, right? That's how I looked at it, right? But instead of these people doting on you, they're fucking hating you and they're gonna eat you, like kind of like the House of the Dying, where they were eating Dany technically. They were trying to bite her and everything like that. But then I thought back to Davos and Stannis with the onions, right? So maybe she does have someone like that can smuggle her in food throughout the entirety of winter. Again, yeah, Sansa is right about the men. Dany's like, fuck off, you're stupid. Sansa, they're your people. Like, you stupid idiot. See, this is the scene I'm talking about. Dany, the longer I leave my enemies alone, the stronger they become. Then why didn't you listen to Olenna Tyrell? You idiot. Sansa and Arya look at each other, right? Like they take it as a threat, right? Because Dany's looking exactly at Sansa when she says that, right? And it pans to both Arya and Thing in that scene, and they're like, "Excuse me, motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you first." Yeah, John Pussy's out. Family duty honor. I don't understand why they split the army up. I really don't. They all should have just went by King's Landing to be one united front. Especially if you're passing by Mo Caelan. Like, who even holds Mo Caelan right now? I thought it was the Ironborn that were holding Mo Caelan until Roose Bolton took it. So who's holding Mo Caelan? Like, they could have been shot and killed right there and then. Like, you guys should have.
The Glovers left Winterfell and went back home, remember? So didn't they have that, Mo Caelan?
I don't think so. I think the Glovers are
Deepwood Mont,
which is east north.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
The neck is the Crannogman.
And it showed Great Water
Deepwood Mont
too. When they span the map, right? It shows Mo Caelan and then it says Grey Water Watch. So like if they're passing by there, like again, that's a hint to Howland Reed. Like why isn't Howland Reed there? Right? To actually
I know.
So stupid.
I want Howland Reed. We'll never get Howland Reed because we want to see him so bad.
Then there's a scene, in Dany, in all the 7 kingdoms, men will live without fear and cruelty under the rightful queen. And it doesn't even shoot Dany, it actually shoots Sansa during that entire scene when she's saying that. So, yeah, foreshadowing much.
Good eye, I didn't even notice that.
Okay. And then the next scene is Jon, Sansa, Arya, and Bran in the Godswood. Sorry, I kind of took away the fun, but we gotta move on instead of like hopping all over the place. Sorry.
No, you didn't.
I do this.
Right.
I don't feel nice when doing it.
Well, we do have to stay on topic. So, I mean, yeah, I just sort of had, like, there was a little comment here on the chat that I liked because Tormund was making it sound like it's where, you know, Tormund said, we need room to roam, we need to wander. And Jon's like, this is the north, but it's not to the wildlings. So, and I like the fact that Ghost stays in the north. That's what makes me feel like Jon must go back because, you know, it's almost like the prophecy. It's of Dany's, but it's instead Jon's. You never know. I mean, it could the 3 heads. It could be one of the loves of hers that they're talking about it. Who knows? But the thing is somebody just made the point that she's got no allies to send her food unless you're on pirates, which is actually kind of true. I mean, didn't the Lannister cart, like that was the one thing she missed with the Dragonfire last season was the cart full of food. You know, she missed that completely and just got all the armies. So Like, you know, now there's no food for them. What are they supposed to do at Dragonstone? Gather up all what food? The food Littlefinger put away at Harrenhal? I don't know.
We are talking about a show that said we will cut down every tree on the Iron Islands and build the strongest flag the world has ever seen, when the island has no trees on it. So
Right.
Good. Good point.
It's very true. I mean, my God. Right. And there you go. The dog show is awesome. I just shout out to you because now it's the gold to pay the Iron Bank back too. Like, what's, I mean, it's either it's kind of destruction for all of them, which is maybe why the Iron Throne will be like it was in her. You know, it's like King Ares screaming, "I want to leave Robert ashes and a kingdom of ashes and bone and charred bone," because that's kind of what this is going to be. And in her vision, Dany's vision, it was all about, you know, the throne room being ash. So, and now you've got the Lannister lion behind it. So I don't know if they're forgetting, like they do, of what they did before, but it kind of makes me wonder if there's going to be a Red Keep at all after this. I mean, it would be fitting because Aegon did build it. Well, Aegon built the Aegon Fort, and then Maegor built the Red Keep. But still, you know, it's a Targaryen built castle. So they know the ins and outs of it better but Dany doesn't. So, I mean, I don't know. It's like, what sense is any of this making to me? And what happened to Tyrion? Why is he so stupid all of a sudden? I'm sorry, but you walk up to a castle with archers, you know, drawn, and you walk up and just start talking in a normal voice like they're going to be able to hear you on the parapets. Come on. And, you know, I'm just like his little looks at Cersei like, come on. But have a heart.
I swear he was whispering during those scenes too. I swear his voice was lower, like on purpose, like so he wasn't heard at all. Cersei was probably just like looking at him like, what is he saying? Okay, well, we're just gonna kill her anyways.
Whatever he's saying, fuck him. But the thing is they had like 12 scorpions there. They could have just shot Drogon right then and there.
Yeah.
Why didn't they?
Good point.
And why did they have Missandei there?
Was pointless. Dany knew that was pointless, and it wouldn't have even been there if it hadn't have been for Melisandre. I mean, Mel, whatever. The other Mel, but Missandei. But yeah. She knew she was gone, and that's why the Dracarys come out, you know. And I think that a lot of Dany's problem in this next coming up is going to be regrets that she didn't listen and didn't take more attention. And, you know, she had apparently the Ironborn and Dorne coming to be able to, she could siege the city, you know, but she's got to get all of her people together to do it. She can't do it with those few Unsullied she showed up there. That was plumb pitiful.
Yeah, I'll say it really was. Like, why go parley when you already have? It didn't work. Now you're there. Just come with the army. Don't wait. Don't I'm gonna go before they get here. Why again? Now you lost another dragon. You lost Missandei. You lost a lot there. Why? Because you can't learn from your mistakes.
Armor. That was another pet peeve I kept coming to.
Yeah, Tyrion. Yeah, Tyrion last episode, he's like, if I were up there, I would have seen all this stuff. And he doesn't tell her either. I kind of believe Tony a little bit here, where he's like, I actually believe Tyrion is working against Dany on purpose, right? He's doing this all for Cersei's kid, right?
I like that. Yeah.
But like,
I
I don't know. Like, I think he's just being stupid. Like, because he started drinking again, and then he just purposely went dumb, right? Because for so long when he was with when he was with Dany, right? Like, he went to Varis and he started drinking. And he's like, no, you got someone to fight for now, right? Like, stop drinking, stop this shit. And then slowly, it was in Marine where he's with Missandei and Grey Worm, and he's trying to get them to tell jokes, right? And then he starts drinking, but it's only like a little bit. And then this season, he's just fucking struggling it back like no tomorrow. So he purposely went for. He knows that drinking makes him like incoherent, right, in thought almost, right? So he's doing it on purpose, or maybe he's doing it as like a safety guard or something like that to his faults, or I don't know, but like I don't think he's.
I think he's nervous. I think he's nervous about being with Dany and that she's not stable. Because when Varys said, I worry about her state of mind, it's like, well, yeah, why wouldn't you? And Tyrion, oh, come on, you can believe it. And he says, you're drinking a lot. It's kind of like, there it is, you're drinking a lot because you can see this, but you're not admitting it. I don't think Tyrion's actually consciously been working against Dany. Because I just don't see the love between Tyrion and Cersei to do that. But maybe it is there with Jaime. So maybe now that Jaime's left and Tyrion's gone, shit, this is my family, whether I like it or not. Tywin raised them that way. We are Lannisters. So if our house goes, that's it for us. Just like, Sansa's little speech to Ramsay, your house will die, your name will die, you won't be a part of history. And that's one of the big parts of everything for the Lannisters, is they want to go down in history as the people who were the best, who ruled who held the throne, who no matter what, everything was theirs. Even when it was Robert Baratheon's, there were Lannister flags everywhere. So it's all kind of like seeming to me like Tyrion's doubting his own self, and that's why he's drinking so much. And at this point in the book, it's where the horse goes, so he's doubting himself there too. So it kind of fits. But Varys, I loved that scene so much because it was like, finally somebody is actually coming back around from all this madness and thinking about the people who's on the throne, if they're good, if they're okay to sit the throne, if they're sound of mind, or if you're going to get a next mad king. He's the only one thinking about this. The fact that the people follow Jon, he's like a magnet for people. They love him. And this is what, it's all about. The charisma and the way, that's how you lead. That's what Rhaegar would have been. That's what Baelor Breakspear would have been. All these people who would have sat the throne but died first. That's what they would have all been, as great rulers that the people loved. Now, is Jon going to go down the same way because he followed Dany? I just wonder if that's why they introduced the whole Daemon Targaryen thing, because that brings us back to Daemon Waters, Daemon Blackfyre, Daemon Blackfyre.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think one of the Daemon Targaryens actually died by a bunch of scorpions in his bed, and I guess that's kind of like Jon, right? Where he's basically sleeping with this woman and she's stinging him like a bunch of times till he's dead, right? Yeah, I can see that. As for Varys, Varys is going to die. Melisandre called it, so the only way I could see Varys going out is if he poisons Dany at the same time as he poisons himself. Right, he goes back to the Stannis and Melisandre and that Maester Crescent.
Yeah.
Crescent. right? And he tries to do that, right? Like, oh, let's cheers to
right.
this right now.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
he tries to take her out like that.
Right. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Nan, were you
So
gonna say something?
I was just going to say that that's kind of like goes back to the first season, first of the season, you know, first season ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With Tyrion, and he came back to the table that next day after Bran was pushed, and they was, you know, saying, well, you're not helping your family. He said, I beg your pardon, you know how much I love my family. So Tyrion does love his family. And Varys, I was surprised that Tyrion is staying as loyal to Dany as he is, and I think he's half in love with her. But I think also Sansa hit it on the head when she said that, when she observed that Tyrion is afraid of Dany. And I believe that he has come to be, he's afraid of her. And Sansa was right in that one too. And Varys, he's going to be burned to death, I think. So Dany done told him what's going to happen to him, and he's going to do it. You know he's going to betray her. So
Right. I mean, he just did. Basically, Tyrion said, we're committing treason right now. And, you know, they were, well, Varys was. But the thing is that, you know, that's the whole point of Dany being a tyrant. She's a tyrant. She's a tyrant. She's a tyrant. She's a tyrant. You don't kill your advisors because they don't agree with you. That's why they're your advisors, is to not agree with you all the time, right? I mean, isn't that the deal? So, you know, to threaten Varys, and now he's going against her, but he's actually the only one here with more experience, you know, being that close to the throne, serving what, 5 kings now, or 4 kings now, that he's, you know, I mean, he's the one who told Aerys not to open the gates, and he opened the gates, and Tywin came in and sacked the city. So, you know, Varys has almost been right every time. So it's like, now you're going to kill him for disagreeing with you? You need to listen. Go ahead, Steph.
okay, so number one, this is very much a Sunday Night Massacre. It's basically when Nixon basically fired 2 of his main people in the States, right? It was called the Sunday Night Massacre because you're not supposed to do it to your like generals and shit like that. It's just stupid, right? These are the most intelligent people that you got backing you up, and they're telling you, no, don't do this. Saturday Night Massacre? I thought it was called the Sunday Night Massacre.
It was Saturday night, I believe.
Was it?
Wasn't it?
Okay, whatever. I'm horrible with history. You knew what I meant. You knew what I meant.
Yeah, it was Nixon when he fired all the people. He went through a whole list of them. And I won't get into politics. Let me get out of that.
But that's what that is, right? Like, Dany's being extra stupid when she's not. She's not supposed to be firing her squad, right? Point, Biotic Flux, the dog show. Okay, you said Varys wouldn't have made it to Dragonstone. I don't believe Tyrion, who can barely run, Stubby, run on cross the fucking boat. Okay, well, scorpion arrows are going through the entire boat. Like, are you kidding me? You know, okay, I'm not going to go into a story about myself, but it's hard to swim it against the current. It is so hard, especially in ocean current, because it will pull you down, it will drag you down. Like, it will take hours to get back to shore. There's no way a guy like that would make it. And I guess that goes to the book too, where it's Tyrion was supposedly drowned as a kid, right? Or he almost drowned, which is goes to the Iron Islands theme, what is dead may never die, right? As for that scene, I don't think Jon would be a good leader. He would kind of be like Robert Baratheon, right? Like, especially if he lost Dany. I just think that would be stupid. Like, basically would look for things to fill this hole if he were to have lost Dany in the process. and then the Seven Kingdoms would hurt as a result. It would be the Robert Baratheon all over again, getting the crown in debt and everything like that, just to fill this hole, right? So I don't think that's good. I don't think, and I think Tyrion is right. Like a cock isn't as important as everyone's making it out to be, which goes to Sansa's conversation, right? What if there is someone else, someone better? And I think she is implying herself. She's just letting everyone else riddle it out for her, right? It's kind of like leaving eggs in an episode, right? Like you leave Easter eggs like in like movies and stuff, and people like other people will pick it up online. That's what she's doing, right? She's leaving all these like little hints. I don't even really think that conversation ended when she told Tyrion that was thing. I think he's looking at Sansa being like, I could possibly be the hand to the actual queen that would do, that has faced cruelty, that has faced fear, has faced everything that these people have also went through, and will know how to correct that, right? And
Yep.
I forget what
I was just gonna say something that you just nailed it. That yes, that's Littlefinger to a T to not say anything. You know, and just to wait for everybody else to kind of figure it out. That's really what he taught her that was so worthwhile, you know? I mean, he really did teach her how to just sit back and watch and listen and not say much and read everybody perfectly. And that's exactly what she's doing. She's reading everyone, especially Dany. Dany doesn't hide fuck all on her face, you know? It all comes right across what she's feeling and thinking. And Biotic Flux, I gotta welcome you back, dude. You're one of my favorites in the chat, always. So he's under a different name, The Dog Show now, but it's so good to see you again. And it's good to see all of you guys again. But what he said was, it looked like the mast was gonna crush Tyrion. Like, here we go again with poor Tyrion in the water. But I guess it didn't. And I guess somehow Euron found Missandei in the middle of the ocean. Just like, that worked so well. Thanks, D&D. For Christ's sake, can we just acknowledge for a minute? I'm sorry to go insane. Can we just acknowledge for a minute how fucking ridiculous this is? It is ridiculous. I feel like George sat there and went, no, you can't have anything in my nothing. I just want it to end now because I'm so sick of what you've done. I just feel that way. I'm sorry, but I do. So, okay. I got that out. Anyway, it did look like the mast hit Tyrion, but what I really loved is Varis coughing up water like, oh, isn't that our merman? He swam right in. You wouldn't think Varis would really be able to swim, would you? But there he was, right there, just coughing up water. I loved it. I mean, it was kind of one of those things like what like you said, you know, Tyrion dying before. And I always talk about this, but that was the whole Shrouded Lord thing, the chapter that George left out that I always want him to put back in so bad, is when Tyrion drowned in the Sorrows with John Connington in the show Jorah when he got grayscale. When he was under so long that he actually went down and chatted with the Shrouded Lord and had a drink of wine with him and made him laugh. And George said, it turns out the Shrouded Lord likes it when you make him laugh. So he sent Tyrion back up with his purpose, you know, which I thought was so cool. And I want to read that chapter so bad. So now Tyrion's drowned practically twice. I was going, please give us the Shrouded Lord. No, they won't. Are you crazy? No. But, you know, then we've got Missandei. Please. Sorry to go insane, but
yeah. I know y'all, she's wanting to get into Missandei's death.
Yeah.
Best death on Game of Thrones. Bar none. It'd be Ned. You fucking useless character. Like, get the hell off.
I wrote right here. Steffie will love this death. Useless Missandei is Steffie.
I like Miss Sandy. But as far as the character goes, she's so far off the book. I mean, she's 8 years old or so in the book, like 10 by now. So you can't really compare that with what you got now. I mean, she's still a child in the book. So all of this is just fluff otherwise, you know.
And I agree with Cynthia on that point. In the book, this would have meant so much more because I think it was in Astapor where the masters led the way by kids pointing the way to Marine or whatever, right? The slave children.
Yeah.
So it would have made more sense if Missandei was a child, but instead they switched her character to just be a whore and a slave that spouts her titles all the time. She is a slave. She was a slave then, she's a slave now, and she died a slave because she bitched out. And instead of taking Cersei down with her, like literally, you just stood there. She
could have pulled her down. Yep.
Literally, what I wrote on Twitter is you should have pulled a Tyrion and done what he did to Shay. You should have taken those chains, wrapped it around her neck, and brought her down with you. That's what you should have done. Instead, you acted like a bitch and you stood there. Like, it's not my fault. Like, your character was useless and you stood there, right? Like, the worst character, but the best death scene because I was so satisfied that she just left. Good for you. Leave. I hope you never get a...
The only part that made me sad was Grey Worm's face. Like, Grey Worm, he's a great actor, that guy. And I just thought, God, this makes it all like this is what gives me pain and sadness is Grey Worm, not her. And, to say Dracarys just means she doesn't get it either. So burn them all. Great. Here we are with the Mad King yet again. No, don't burn them all. Have you not been listening at all of your councils where now you're a slave / advisor? No.
But if you notice in that picture where Cersei's letting all the small folks into the Red Keep as a human shield, more or less, she's got barrels of something in them towers above all that out there. Did y'all notice that? She's got, and it's either wildfire or oil or something that's going to burn. It's combustible, you bet. And, she may burn them all and make it look, appear like Cersei did. I mean, Dany did it. You don't never know. But I think
true.
They're kind of trying to make Dany appear too Mad Queenish all of a sudden. I mean, there's the progression into that Mad Queen state. You're only seeing it in this. Yeah, she's made some stupid moves even last year. But this state of her is the worst we've seen of her. And it's all of a sudden when we've seen Cersei doing really terrible stuff for 8 years now. So I don't know, but it's not just like I said the last time, a shell game where it could be Dany that's the Mad Queen, or it could be Cersei that's the Mad Queen, or it could be both of them and they'll decide they never want any queens at all. So,
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, I didn't even Cersei saying, well, they'll just see that she's going to burn the whole kingdom of all these innocent people, when maybe it's not going to be Dany, it's going to be Cersei, because she's got wildfire. She's got all that wildfire. And maybe she'll be smart when it comes to a castle in the medieval ages and pour oil over the side onto the people coming in. Actually, that's a tactic of war that they use. That's what you do over the front gate of a castle, is pour oil. So, it could be that Cersei's actually got...
Well, they've already mentioned that last year with Bronn when they set up the meeting and they were looking at all these Dany's big bunch of troops she had and has no more.
Yeah.
Bronn asked him, how many barrels, what is that? And it was pitch. for burning. And then he said 500 barrels get 500 more. So
Right.
it
That's
could be
right.
just pitch instead of wildfire.
Yeah, and then you just send flaming arrows on them, or the dragon breathes flame, and that's that for your army, not theirs. Wow, that would be kind of it would be the wrong side of a twist, but it would be a good one because Dany's got to learn somehow. She's got to learn that this is true. The dog show says Biotic Flux says Arya and the Hound might get in the way, and that's the part we missed. Well, we sort of talked about it a little bit, but the Hound and Arya just kind of off by themselves going. It's surprisingly to me that Arya saying, I'm never coming back, and the Hound saying, I'm never coming back. So they were just like Varis and Melisandre were going to die here. And so they're going to die in King's Landing. And Arya is probably going to finish her kill list. If the Hound doesn't kill the Mountain, she's going to help him. Or she's going to do it for him. And, it's one or the other. I said this last time, and it seemed like it was a little too much for Arya to kill the Night King and Cersei. But she just might. I don't know. Maybe it'll be Jaime. Maybe it'll be Tyrion. Who knows? But maybe it'll be Euron, because Euron's younger brother too. So, but the thing is that I feel like Jaime needs to be there while she dies. That's the one thing I feel like, because they always say they came into this world, they'll go out together. Even if he doesn't kill her, he's got to be there. And if it's Arya, great. If it's the Hound, great. Whatever. But, I feel like, still I feel like it'd be better for little, the cat, Rhaenyra's cat, to go running under the mountain while he's walking down the stairs or something, trip him and fall into a brazier. I swear to God, it'd be better than what's going on. But if the Hound actually did fight the Mountain and we could forget the name Clegane Bowl, then I might be pleased with it. I would, because I'd like to see the Hound get his due.
Yeah, just think about it from the prophecy standpoint, because the prophecy makes so much more sense, right? Because it happened in season 1, right?
Right.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And even the Hound is a younger brother too. He's a little brother.
Yeah. Yep. There could be many Valonqars. Tyrion, Jaime, the Hound, Arya. And I don't think it's right either to have Arya kill the Night King and Cersei both. I really don't. But as far as we're going here, you never know. But what I do think is that it should be something where, Sansa has some say in it. Like they take Cersei prisoner or something, and they take her down to the Black Cells, and it's kind of a repeat of maybe Ned or
I'd like that. That would be like poetic justice. But then again, it was Joffrey, right? Who actually killed Ned. Cersei didn't want that. Cersei advised against it, right? And same with Varis, right? And Sansa didn't want it. It was just Joffrey being a fucking crazy lunatic, right? Which sucks.
It was, yeah. It was. But, Cersei's done so many horrible things in those dungeons. Go ahead, Nan. Sorry.
You heard what Sansa told Jaime before he left. That she said, I've always wanted to be there when they execute your sister. So maybe she'll make a run for King's Landing one day.
I'd like to add into that scene. I really don't think. I think the Valonqar prophecy has to be true. They had to throw it in there for like a purpose. I don't think she's gonna get executed. I think she's gonna die in that like one of those moments where like it seems stupid to me that like why would Euron even trust Qyburn's nod? Like, oh yeah, she's pregnant with your kid. Like, why would you even trust Qyburn? So stupid. But But there was one scene when Jamie walks up to Brienne and Sansa says, as one of the rest of her, as are the rest of her advisors, it's unanimous, right? It's unanimous consent that something's going to happen. So she got word from someone. Who is this person that's telling her all of her advisors are against Dany right now? Is it Varis? Is it Tyrion? Someone had to send Sansa that letter, and those are the words I put on the subtitles and everything. Like that's exactly. As are the rest of her advisors. It's like basically unanimous, right? And then Brienne comes in and makes up some excuse. Oh, Dany lost one of her dragons doing this.
Right. I mean, that would mean that it was like a few weeks to a month while they're saying, well, we can't wait for Rhaegal to get better. We can't wait for anything. But then a raven comes to say, you know, that Rhaegal was taken down and that Dany got ambushed by Euron. But that would take some time. So it does seem like there's something going on where someone's giving some information, and you know, it very well could be Qyburn. I've always wondered about Qyburn myself, if he wasn't on the Tyrell side before, or maybe he isn't on another side now. But kind of starting to not think that anymore as of the last couple seasons, because it just doesn't look that way. It looks like he's just a Frankenstein and Dr. Frankenstein, and that's it. But it also could be, Dario. Where is Dario? You know, like, I thought he was supposed to be like watching Dragon's Bay and all this stuff. And why isn't he there with all these sellswords, you know? And by the way, let's mention Bronn getting Highgarden, of all things in the world. We forgot that scene about the stupid thing that Bronn did.
At least he's more qualified than Gendry. Like, I would rather have Bronn as my lord than Gendry. Gendry's like a kid that doesn't know shit, right? Like, only had sex for the first time, and then you have Bronn, who's like literally worked his ass off for everything. At least he kind of deserves it. Like, whatever. So stupid.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a few comments like Varis is the information guy. Yeah, I mean, he's the master of whispers, so he's going to hear everything, you know, and we don't know who it's coming from, but it could be, he could, like in the books, Varis and Illyrio are telling the Golden Company what to do. So it could be that Varis has been communicating with Harry Strickland this whole time.
Yeah, but you know, in the show, we never got to hear the rest of Sansa's conversation with Tyrion.
Right.
So you don't know what he may be letting her. Just, she could have said, "Will you keep me informed of what's going on, and keep an eye on my brother, and you know, let me know whatever." So you know, you've got that too.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Cynthia on that. Because basically, last episode, Tyrion talks to Bran for so long, right? He spends the whole night with it, that guy. So, like, Bran says it's not my choice to tell someone, but maybe he already did, and he thought, oh, shit, like, I just started something that I wasn't supposed to. It wasn't my place to tell, right? And maybe...
just like Bloodraven did.
Right, like, maybe he thought, oh, shit, right? And Sansa actually was putting herself up as queen. Instead, I feel like that. I feel like Sansa would put herself up to queen. The conversation was obviously cut off, but I feel like if she's going to tell one person, it would be Tyrion. I feel like it would be Tyrion for some reason. I don't know why I feel that, but like it's either Brienne probably already knows that she wants the throne, right?
Yep.
And then it would be Tyrion next, and then Varys would probably be the information hound in that scenario, and he's probably riddling it out.
Yeah,
because Tyrion told Varis. Who told Varis? Or who told Tyrion? We assume Sansa told Tyrion.
Yeah,
but it could have equally been Bran, right?
Could have.
Well,
Come on.
that's true.
Could have
That's
been
true.
Sansa all by herself. You know, like I mean,
But I don't get
I
them. I beg to differ on that point, though. I don't think Sansa ever wants to go back to King's Landing ever. I think she wants the North to remain independent. And if rather than have Dany, I think she would rather have Jon in King's Landing, and then her as in the North, ruling the North, or Jon, as independent or whatever. But yeah, I just don't
Yeah.
get that. That.
you
And yeah,
that's
she
the
would.
thing.
She may be, but I mean, as an option. But she's knows enough to know, just like Varis said, cocks matter in their world.
Yeah, and they do. That's been my whole point, is that primogenitor is male. It's not female. And this is kind of the whole point of the books is, succession and what man sits the throne, not woman. It's just not the way it is. And so I was just thinking about something though, because it's interesting that somebody in the chat just said, like you just said, Steffi, who actually told Varis, and we don't really know who told anyone. Like it got around like wildfire, excuse that, but it did. I mean, it don't tell anyone. Jon tells Arya, Sansa, and Bran.
But Bran is
Sansa,
the one who originally knew.
Bran already knew. Yeah, it's your choice. Yeah. So he knew. So maybe, I mean, I don't really see Arya running around telling people, but I do see Tyrion doing that after Sansa told
Well,
him.
it's not just them though. It's Sam, and if Sam knows, Gilly knows. So I mean,
well, yeah, Sam knows
it's
too.
like,
So yeah,
like there says, at a certain point, it just becomes information.
It's
And,
9 people that know. But in the show they said 8 people, but Gilly's 9, right? Gilly would be 9.
Exactly.
Hold on, let me do this. Okay, so Bran told Jon, Sam told Jon, right? Jon told Sansa, Arya, right? Sansa supposedly told Tyrion. Tyrion told Varys, right? And then you have I feel like I'm missing someone. Hold on. Gilly. Gilly would be 8. But why would Gilly, like, would anyone really include Gilly as someone to conspire, like, be like an information person? I feel like no one would believe her.
She's the one that found it in the book, remember? She's the one that told Sam.
Yeah, she is. About the marriage and
about Rhaegar and what is annulment and everything. When she asked him, what is annulment? And he told her, But, if he knows something, she's going to know it, especially when it comes to the books.
I included Howland, that's why. My bad.
Oh, Howland Reed. He does know, but I mean, and you never know how many people Howland Reed has told, if he's told anyone. I don't know that he's told anyone. I don't think he's told anyone, but at this point, he might have if he sees a dragon queen flying around, because he would have seen it. He would have. Yes. From his floating castle.
See, but look, Biotics Fluxer, the dog show, he said Gilly knows of the annulment, not necessarily the stuff about Jon.
Right.
Like, she doesn't really have a concern with him. Like, how much information does she know about Jon? Right? Despite Sam and Jon being so close, like, how much do I really know about?
Like, I agree with that, actually. Gilly doesn't really know that means Jon's their son. She just knows that means.
I think that if she's been in Winterfell this long, I just imagine she knows something.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Sam, and as close as her and Sam are on everything, I would think that she does anyway. So it's probably 8, possibly 9 people that know.
It's kind of like, this is something Littlefinger would do, is go spread it around without anyone really knowing who it was. So why not Sansa?
Jake brings up a good point too in the chat. He says that Cersei might be talking to Sansa, right, and offer her the North for her defense, because supposedly all the Northmen are gone mysteriously, like the House Glover, right? I don't think the Vale went down either. I think they stayed in the North as well, right? Like all these Northmen didn't go. I think they removed them like physically off the table. I think Jon just like swiped them off.
He did. He took them off. Yeah, maybe that's what Bronzer Royce was like. His last gasp there. Lighting the fire.
It was half of them. I wrote it down. It was most of the Dothraki, half the Unsullied, and half the North. So they lost half of the North in that battle for Winterfell.
Right.
And then you got the wounded. And most of the ones that's left are wounded.
Yeah. Yeah. However, they were holding Aaron's shield, so God knows why. But anyway, this is interesting here. As far as believing, we always hear that Lyanna was raped without being pregnant or having a baby. Why would you think she was raped? Exactly. Somebody started that story, and it was most likely Robert, So somebody starts a story, it becomes history.
It goes to like that mob mentality, and like what they're trying to get is democracy or whatever. It's always like the population that doesn't win is so dissatisfied, right? Like anyone can look at it through history. Like I can say I don't like Trudeau. I don't like a lot of his policies, but I do find some of them good. Like, yeah, you can save baby seals if you fucking want. Like, I got no problem with it, buddy. Right? Like, I'm not gonna front you on that. Like, it was a good policy. But like it's that thing, right? That's how Jon died, right? And it's the same reason why Cersei might get killed if they starve her out, right? Is that mob mentality is I'm hungry, I want food, right? It's everything like that. Yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of one of those things, I guess. It also could be Tyrion wondering, like testing people, like he did with Pycelle and Littlefinger, and when he cut off Pycelle's beard.
Yeah, the lying game.
Right.
Yeah, right. He says, I'm sending Marcella to Dorne, I'm sending her to the Vale or the Eyrie, I'm sending her to River. I forget all the places. It was, but everyone told a different story, and he went to see who ratted him out. Right?
And it was Pycelle. Yeah. And so it could be like they played the drinking game again. Maybe it's a reference to Tyrion playing another game again.
I like that.
It's kind of cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, I do. Thanks, JD. Was that JD? I didn't even see.
Well, hello,
Jake.
chat.
I don't think Justin is in the chat right now.
Oh, that was Jake. Sorry. Yeah.
Hey, chat. I don't get to. I have the girls keep up with what y'all saying, because I'm not that smart.
Yes, you are.
I think we've got it all, haven't we?
I think we have, yeah. I mean, yeah. All I want to say left is that, what the fuck, Tyrion, is what I wrote down. Why not just remain with Cersei then? If it's only about Dany and the good choices she might make, well, Cersei might make a good choice here and there too, but Jon is the better ruler, like Varis said. He's strong, he's measured, and the people love him. They will not follow someone who burns them, just like the fate of the Tarleys. Not going to happen. So that's my final say right there.
I'm not going to comment on Tyrion. I think he's probably dead. I think he's going to die. I think Jaime's going to die. I think Cersei's going to die. I think everyone in House Lannister is going to die. Because of Bronn, because of the Valonqar prophecy, and because of Bran's fever dream. I think they're all dead. But when it came to, I didn't add this point. Jamie, right before he leaves, Brienne's in bed and he's looking at the fire. Now, in the feast area, Tyrion talks to Davos about R'hllor. He's like, we did all this shit because God in the fire told us to, and he's basically fucked off since.
And then he fucked off.
Now,
yeah.
and then Jamie's sitting in front of the fire, watching the fire, and then he gets up and goes. And then Brienne's like, what the fuck? I just heard the door close. Why would he leave? Right? It was, I found that to be a very important moment. I thought it was cool because she did mention the fire when they first had sex, right? So
Right.
Good
Ooh, that's
call.
good.
Good call, Steffie. Good call.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. I really do. I think that's fabulous. Let's leave it there.
Is that it?
Shall we?
That
At
it?
least if you want to talk,
Well-
you can, but I got to jump off.
hold on. Let's do
Okay,
it. Let's do a quick hit list.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, hit list. Okay. Yeah, we got to do a hit list.
Who we got tonight?
Tonight we had, let's see, we got a lot of people stopping by, which was so nice. Jake, Cruz, Nix, PK, Ace, Anime, Kirk, like the captain, what are you? That's stupid, that's cute. The Dog Show, who was Biotic Flux. And we had, and a couple people stopped by. I think I mentioned them. Yeah, that was about it. And JD stopped by, and yeah. So thanks, guys. That was a great chat. It really was. You guys came up with some good stuff. Love you guys.
Well,
Love you too. This one was a good one. I found that like despite the episode being shit, like we did find like enough stuff in there, right? But Tyrion should have been dead. Like he should have been dead. Like so, like Mr. Stubby there. You can't swim that far. Like he got hit by the mast. Like this guy has to have a horseshoe up his ass. Honestly, like you have so much luck in you, man. Like you should not be alive, right? And if it relates to the books, he survived the pits of Marine with Penny, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Played, sold off,
Still living.
drowned.
Well, I want to make a point that I think that, Danny's doing a decline. She started with nothing and she may end up with nothing. I mean, she's already lost 2 of her dragons now, so that's something we've got to keep an eye on. I think overall, I think it was a pretty good show. I found a lot of we've covered everything that I found, so we've already said it all, I suppose. I want to thank the ladies for coming out tonight, and I really appreciate y'all. Appreciate the chat. We appreciate everything y'all do for us, and we enjoy doing what we do, and thank y'all for enjoying it with us. Ladies, your turn for outro.
Thanks, guys, for being here. I'm at Lady Ashley from the Iron Underneath, and it's always good to see you, and this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being in the chat. I love you, my ladies, my she-wolves, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, great chat, ladies. I love you, ladies, too. God bless you. God bless the chat. So much fun. So much fun. I love writing on shows like this because it's shit compared to the books. And yeah, and fuck Masande, too. Stupid bitch.
Oh, Lord. All right. Good night, folks.